24 brings you a lifestyle show from women you know with Alex Delgado and Lindsay Pena. Now Central Valley Today.
Domestic violence and violence against women is a crime that knows no geographical or economic boundaries. There's a national campaign bringing awareness to that issue globally, and it includes a calendar.
That's right. It's called Saris to Suits, and its mission is to shed more light on the crime and empower women to break their silence. So let's go ahead and welcome Dr. Gayatri Dave, who was actually chosen as a role model for the calendar, a good friend of mine. Gayatri, how are you today?
Great, Alex. Thank you so much for having me here today in your show.
This is so important, I think, because it's something that you became involved with. You're very passionate about it, and you became a role model for it, both role model and model. How did you get involved?
Well, Alex, Saris to Suits calendar is a campaign to save lives and raise awareness about violence, various forms of violence against women. And we're all working women that live around the country, and we're physicians, broadcast journalists, and creative artists. And I got asked to be involved because of my work as a TV medical expert, and I agreed because I've been moved by the various forms of violence locally, globally, and by what I see in the healthcare setting where I work. And people wonder why a doctor would be involved in this kind of a campaign, but may not realize that abuse and violence is a preventable public health problem that affects millions of American women.
Tell us a little bit more about this campaign specifically, and how it raises money and exactly what you guys are doing.
Well, Sari is a beautiful garment that symbolizes the fluidity of women as they move from the workplace to the home life, and many of us are wearing saris in order to highlight the various forms of violence against women in the South Asian community, particularly locally and globally. But regardless of what you're wearing, whether it's a sari, a suit, or a pair of jeans, violence cuts across all social and demographic lines. It can be you, and it wouldn't be your fault, your mother, your sister, your friend. And the idea is to break the silence about these issues.
So a lot of women, even women that you have treated, don't like to speak out about it, or maybe are fearful of speaking out about it?
That's right, Alex. It's really important for women to speak out about it in order to tap into the various resources that are available to break this silence. And there are prevention efforts that focus on preventing these incidents, and studies have shown that preventing the first-time incidents is the most important. Victims that stay at a domestic violence shelter after a first-time incident and work with a domestic violence advocate have a much lower likelihood of being abused again. And an advocate can also include a physician or a mental health worker or a behavioral health specialist.
So it's really about communication and just, I mean, making people aware that they have someone in their life. There is someone that they can reach out to.
Yes, that's right, Lindsay. Many women may not be ready to make the steps because of financial reasons, fear, or cultural or religious reasons.
Well, I know that it was an incident with a young lady, Bhumika Kochar, 25 years old, and we're going to take a look at her picture right now. Can you tell me a little bit about this incident and what happened to her?
Well, Alex, this, along with a number of other global incidents, the most notable one, that being one of them, the most notable are a series of gang rapes that occurred in India, one in Delhi and one in Mumbai against a medical student and against a journalist, that raised a great deal of social outcry. This is an example, in this case, of an arranged marriage that occurred and led to a death.
Wow. And then you've also sent us information on is it the Delhi gang rape? A lot of people protesting.
That's right, Alex. There was a great deal of social outcry and international coverage on these issues, and it's important for a lot of women that are involved in the calendar, because we're all American women, but of a South Asian descent, and we either have extended family or have lived or worked in South Asian countries. So it does impact us. I'm a little concerned about visiting some of these cities where I've lived before, Delhi and Bombay, but also these ideologies, they're pervasive locally as well. And so part of the prevention efforts is focusing on the individual, the social, community levels by promoting respectful, nonviolent relationships.
Oh, you've got to start somewhere, and this is a wonderful place to start.
That's right.
And thank you for being here and for doing all of this work.
And for you look beautiful in that calendar, by the way. Absolutely. Where can people get the calendar?
For more information about the calendar, you can go to saristosuits.com. The calendar will be available for release by before the holiday season.
Oh,
perfect.
Good
Christmas gift.
Yes, it's a wonderful Christmas gift, and obviously for a good good cause.
Right. The proceeds will benefit local and national domestic violence organizations.
Sounds great. Great job, Gayatri. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
being here.
Thank you for having me on.